Today, we're going to work on the next preset in the MiniBrute cookbook. This is recipe number 4, called The Long Dark by Victor Morello. I still don't know if I'm saying that name right. I'm assuming I am. I have no idea. And so to start this off, we're going to go back to a null patch. So what we're going to do, start off with, as always, with something to get us some sound. So we'll start off with the triangle wave. If we turn the cutoff off, the filter off, sounds real nice, real thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in oscillator 2. Oh no, I bumped my camera. Yeah, we're going to add in oscillator 2, but we're going to put it an octave higher than oscillator 1. So we can hear them reesing pretty nicely there. I really liked that. That was pretty cool. If you put that behind through like a tube distortion. I need to turn that down just a little bit. But put that through like a tube distortion, that would sound like, that would sound so lush. But that's not what we're looking for today. For today, we want them to be pretty much the same. And turn that down a little bit. Now, what I like to do when I'm tuning by ears, I actually like to use 2 saw waves because to my ear, the movements are a lot more pronounced, so it's a little bit. That's not perfect, but it's close enough because we're going to be using the triangle, not the square. And on oscillator 2, we're going to be using the sine wave, not the square or triangle or saw wave. So it's not that big a deal. All right, so the next thing we need to do is actually get them tuned off from each other, right? So now I'm in the fine mode for oscillator 2, but you could do it in all. Either way is fine. Move the camera again. Anyway. So we got tone, we got something, but we need to make it a little more interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to start using the filter. We're going to turn the filter to halfway, turn our our frequency modulation for the cutoff, the cutoff frequency modulation knob to a little under 9 o'clock. So call that 8:30, something like that. And so what that's going to do is it's whenever you use the ADSR envelope, what it's going to do, whatever you have the ADSR set to do, it's going to go the opposite direction of wherever it's currently set. So with your cutoff set in the center, whenever the attack happens, instead of it ramping up and the filter opening up like normal, it's actually going to go the opposite way. So it'll actually close on the hits and then open back up again. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the attack all the way down because we want it to just, we don't want it to go, we want it to just, like just ascend, right? So we're going to turn our decay up, turn our sustain up a little bit higher than that, decay up about halfway, sustain just a little higher than that, release a little bit below the decay, just a tiny bit, okay? And so what this is going to do is it's going to very slowly bring us up to the level we need to be. And then whenever the note is released, it'll gradually come up and then back down on its own, just with the decay, sustain, and release. Now, the other thing we need to do is we need to make it play a tone for a long time. So we're going to turn the attack up to almost 3/4 of the way. And the decay, we're going to put basically all the way up. Take it all the way up and then just nudge it down ever so slightly. So that way it's not like crazy long, but it still does what it needs to do. Also, we need to make sure that we are in trigger mode, not gate, for the AD envelope. And then the last thing we want to do is just add a little bit of brute factor, just to kind of round everything off. And this is what it should sound like. Let's turn it up a little bit, just a little bit. As the name implies, your notes are long and dark, right? So now we can take this up you obviously, given just what we use, it's a pretty simple sound to make. It's a very simple patch. There's not a lot going on with it. But we can do a lot, or at least we can experiment within here to find that sweet spot for where the filter sits nicely and where the envelope adjusts the frequency how we like. It's all a matter of taste, really. Same thing with the brute factor. My pots are starting to get a little dirty here because I have dirty pots. Dirty pots. So you can obviously turn that brute factor way up and get real weird with it, Now, something else I liked to do, and something I did earlier, I programmed a little, I'm sorry, that's the one we're on. I programmed a little loop, and I think it's saved. It should have saved. Yeah, it saved. So I programmed a little loop. It's very simple. So it's 32. It's 32 beats. Basically 2 bars. And what's happening is it's just alternating that's what is it? C, G, C, E, or D sharp maybe. I don't remember. I think it's D sharp because it's minor. I don't know if it's minor or not. I'm a drummer. Don't ask. I'm using the modulator 2, which is normally the pressure modulation for when you hit these notes. How much pressure you put on the actual pad. But you can take and you can reset them to do different things. So I'm taking, if you hold down which track you're adjusting, and you turn the wheel, you can do different things with it. So you can have this be a separate pitch, which I haven't played around with that yet, but you can do polyphonic things that way. You kind of have to program them a little bit more manually, but it can be done. But what we're going to use it for is we're going to use the square wave. So basically what this is using modulator 2 as now a programmed beat by beat square wave of LFO, basically. So you'll see here, I already have them programmed in. So I'm just it's just a square wave, and it goes, quarter, eighth, 16th, eighth, half, eighth, half. Actually, that was supposed to be quarter, 16th, and then that's it. And so you can change how long it takes to run from beat to beat per track. And to do that, whatever track you're on, you hold shift, and then you pick your denomination. Now, it's kind of hard to see on mine because mine is the noir version. The red does not show up nicely on camera, but this is quarter note, eighth note, 16th note, 32nd note. So I have 16th note selected for the pitch. Now, I could, given the simplicity of the pattern that I have, I could actually simplify this entire thing, run it on like a quarter inch. Well, no, I would have to do it on eighths, and I could, make the pattern run way longer, whatever. I don't need to. Doesn't matter. But it's fine because it's running. See, it's basically two blocks. Okay, and I actually might want to slow that down anyway, because what we're going to see here is on the pressure or the mod 2, I have it set for square wave. Now I have it set to go quarter notes, right? Now I've already programmed each note, and you also have to hit last step and choose that the pattern's only going to go so far. Okay. And while I'm thinking about it, I should probably save this so I don't lose it. What we have to do next is we have to take that pressure, that modulation. The thing that I've found that seems to work okay-ish is to run it straight into that cutoff. And I turn the resonance up so you can kind of hear it. But it's very... So that's all well and fine. You can have some fun with that. What you can also do is I like to take and put it into the metal modulation. Since we're using the triangle wave, just put a little bit of that metalizer in there. Put a little bit of that metalizer in there, turn the metal mod up. Something fun to note is that the metalizer in can be modulated by something else. So something fun that you can do that I have not had a chance to experiment with, and I may do that in another video, is to take sound from something else to run it through the modulation filter for the metalizer. So I will take a sound from another synth, maybe from Studio One or somewhere else, and I will run it into this. And again, that's going to be another video. But I like to use that metalizer like that. I like using the gates this way because I can choose how long they go. Remember, we changed oh, I should show you that too. So see how it's going by quarters. But if we go to the pitch, we can change this to 16ths again, or we can go crazy with it. But the pressure modulation, still just quarters, right? So it's not really working. So we'll go back to 16ths, go to the pressure modulation. Now it doesn't make sense to move it as fast as we have been because, oh, here we go. So the other thing you can do is you can make it, you can change the direction of what's happening. So if we change this to alternate, what it'll do is it'll run the pattern of changes and then it'll come back, right? And remember, each one of these is set differently. So what I'm going to do is actually change these to a way that we can actually hear it a little more, make more sense. so we can kind of hear it a little more now. And there you have it. There's the long dark and a little bit of fun that you can do with it. Some things that you can play around with. Some ways to modulate and do things a little differently. As always, experiment, have fun, find out what works for you. And if it sounds good, it is good. Make a song out of it. Put it out into the world. We need more beauty. Beauty in the beats, right?